Well then, good. Good morning. And it seems to be, I've tried 3 weeks in a row now to get Tatiana's music, and it's so good. You just heard a little teeny bit of it. Next week, we will have Tatiana and Andrew for you. It's beautiful. It's working. I don't know why it didn't come out of the speakers earlier. Mysteries. Okay, so let's end scene and start again. Good morning, Unity Northwest Church. This is Reverend Elizabeth, and I am so grateful to be with you this morning. You are the church. You have come into this place because you're ready for a lift up. You're ready to lift others up, and you come here to remember the truth of who you are, of what God is, and of what's happening here in this world. We come together on Sunday to remember, to refresh, to connect, to learn, and to grow. Whether you're here with us right now, whether you're with us in the future, whether you rewatch this or you're watching us for the first time, you are welcome here. We are so glad that you're here because you are what makes up this church. I look at a green dot, but beyond that green dot, I know that there are so many of you out there watching, and that this means something to you to come together and to get a positive message, to lift up, and to share with other people. Thank you for being the church. Again, otherwise I'm just a strange lady looking at a green dot standing at her dining room table on a Sunday morning. So I'm glad there's somebody out there, and that it goes on, and there's more somebodies, and there's more somebodies. Let's go ahead and open in prayer. In whatever way is comfortable for you. Oh, let's take this moment to breathe, to settle in, and for each of us to consciously remember who we are, what we are. You are a divine child of God, of the universe. You are important and you matter. And whatever your week has looked like, whether you celebrated wonderful things, whether you had challenges this week and it was difficult, and if it were both of those things, whatever your week looked like, you are now here in a sacred space to heal and to grow and to share, because we are all connected in the great oneness. We are all connected in God, and God, the presence, the power of love and goodness, is in every part of your life right now. Whether it looks like it or not, God is a potential field of possibilities, and it's here, everywhere. We now grab hold of the power of that knowledge, that the presence of God is everywhere beyond our human understanding. We grab a hold of that truth. We let it permeate every cell. We let it wash away any thoughts of lack, of darkness. We are here today to let the light shine from within us and onto us through music, through scripture, through living. In all these ways, we are one. And so it is. Amen. Again, a wonderful good morning and a welcome to everyone who's with us right now. We know that we have people watching from all over. And so a special welcome, especially to those who are with us for the first time. If you are with us and you'd like more information about Unity Northwest Church, all you need to do is send a quick email to this email address that you see here, and we will send you more information. And if you've been with us every Sunday for many, many years, I know many of you have, welcome back. It's great to have you. And we join together those communities of people that are new, people that are watching later in the week, and people that are watching with us right now. Just think about how what we're doing here on Sunday lives on now more than it used to electronically, so that Sunday services continue on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and next week and the week after is the potential. Welcome. We're really glad to have all of you with us. And most of you have already been doing this. Go ahead and say hi in the comments section. Comment often when you hear things. I will do my best to put up as much of those comments. So, it's like you were sitting next to your friend in church and you whispered over and said, yeah, I like that, or I'm not sure about that, or whatever. We can put that up here, and it's your space. So get up, dance, sing, give yourself a big hug, especially if you're out there by yourself right now and you live alone and don't get a chance for that. I feel you, man. I really hear from people that this is one of the hardest parts. So everybody, just give yourself a big hug. It's a good substitute for now, so we can do the real thing. So this is my hug out to all of you, and enjoy your Sunday service. It is very much what you choose to make of it. And continue to check in the chat box so that we can see your names later and let everybody know who's here. It's our way of making it. And I just happened to see my eye caught that we have someone on with us for the first time. Hi, Morgan. It's wonderful to have you. You've been wanting to check us out for years. That's how it goes. Most of us drive by the church for, a good couple of decades. And then we're like, maybe I'll actually stop in there. So we're really glad that you did. And you're in good company with most of us. And my husband says, welcome. And she says, thank you. So great to have you. Continue the check-in. And now I'm going to take us over into our daily word, which I am going to pull up on my phone. We get the old-fashioned paper version. I know that that's so retro, but I didn't bring it with. So luckily, I just have that good old Daily Word app right on my phone. That's the nice benefit. When you get a Daily Word subscription, you automatically get, the online version. So it's really nice. You can pull up the Daily Word and then you can search by topic. So I'm going to read this, and I can hear, because there's a delay. My husband is now frantically running and handing me the paper copy of the Daily Word. It was his job to bring it. So, he feels just a little bit bad about that, but not too bad.
Sorry.
Apologies from Arturo. See, he exists now. It's still the same Daily Word, faith. I invite you also to kind of settle in and let the words wash over you. Let them be yours. Let them soothe anything that's in your heart right now. Faith. With faith, nothing is impossible for me. With gratitude, I use my faith to trust in the good that is always present, even when it's not yet manifested. As I pray with faith, I discern the truth that always endures, even though there are difficult circumstances. As I concentrate on harmony and love, all thoughts of lack, limitation, and discord simply dissolve. As I speak with faith, I use positive words to express my belief in myself and others as divine beings. As I act with faith, I access deep, lasting strength and fortitude that help me surmount any challenges. Inspired by my faith, I move forward with confidence. Nothing is impossible for me. And from Matthew 17:20, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. The daily word for today. And let's do our check-in. And the first bunch were, hey, I'm here and I can't hear. So we've got welcome and good morning to Cindy and Georgiulis and Florsheim, both of our Cindys in right at the top. Hi, Celeste. It's great to see you again. Chris, Karen, everybody who thought that you were losing your hearing, but you're not. It wasn't your computer, it was us. So hi, Brenda, good to see you, and Jeanette. And Arturo was letting everybody know. And here we go, Carolyn. Good morning. Carolyn Zoomed with 6 children and 2 teachers. Everybody, yay! This is so exciting. We had kids online today. Oh, that was fantastic. And hi, Hal and Jeanette and Kat. And Carolyn loves seeing the sanctuary with that little clip of the video. You'll see more next week. And hi, Patricia, Mary, Karen, Mickey, yes. And everybody's hearing me now. Hi, Julie. Pat, we've got the sound. Whew! We're so glad that it didn't go on any longer. And you can hear da, da, da. And here we've got good morning, family and friends. Simone and Mika enjoyed their time with Carolyn. Oh, thanks for letting us know. Check out the adorable picture of them down in the corner there. So glad that you were on. That's wonderful. And poor Andrew, we are going to get to you next week. Apologies. It was distorted because I had turned it up so loud when I thought that was the problem. So we'll get it fixed. And cross hello from some folks. Ruth and Dallas, our first timer, some welcomes. Hi, Gary, great to have you. Jeanette sends a message to Morgan. We welcome you and give you a virtual hug. Morgan, we're blessed by your presence. If you were in person, if you wanted it, we would have hugs for you. And Jeanette is one of those people that always connects with the new folks. So she'd be right there chatting with you, Morgan. Good morning, Isabella. Good morning, Mark. Hi, Sheila. Wonderful to have you here. Marilyn, Don, Mike, and Beth. All right, we've got a great crowd this morning. Thank you, everybody, for checking in. Wonderful to see you with us. And now that we know how many friends are here, new friends, we are reconnected. You might close your eyes for a moment as we begin meditation and picture our sanctuary one more time. Even though the building's closed, church is open. It's open here on Zoom, or Facebook rather, for you. And it's open in our hearts. And we can picture these folks sitting around us as we did every Sunday, and we will do again as we enter into meditation. This very sacred and holy time in my week is when I come together to meditate with my church friends and family. When I take this moment to stop, to go inward, to let the divine wash over me, to let the divine well up from within me, to feel God energizing my body, that every cell and every atom and every bit of me, every space within me has God's love and energy. And I breathe in this healing space, breathing one of the most natural and healthy things that I can do, to breathe deeply at times and to notice the breath and let it guide me. Let the breath guide me to the truth. Peace is here. Peace is here. Peace is the truth. Peace is my strength, my rock, my comfort. And as all else falls away, anything that is different from peace is removed, put into the background. Peace comes forward. Peace fills me up, and I rest in that peace. Peace within me. This true and lasting peace is never taken away. Nothing can change that. I'm so grateful that this is at the core of me and that I know it now, that I am reconfirmed, reattached, remembered in peace. And so it is. Amen. A couple of other good mornings this morning. Hi, Oliver and Molly. And it's so wonderful that the girls were in the Zoom this morning as well. I know kids do a lot of Zoom, so I'm so glad you had it within you to do one more. Hi, Tim, and hi, Anne. Here we are, continuing an experiment in spiritual living. Week 3, and we're going to continue with these experiments and check in with you and see how things have been going this week. So there are a lot of different ways that we can experiment with spiritual living. And one that you may not think of, it wouldn't jump to mind, is racing. Back in 1987, there was a man who used an experiment in the power of prayer and didn't even know that's what he was doing. See, we find people are praying in lots of different ways all over the place, and we may not officially call it that, but that's what it is, because it's directed energy, directed positive energy towards what is divine and godlike, whether we use the word God or not. So here is Al Unser in 1987, and he is at the end of his career. Nothing's happening for him. He is old, he is washed up, and he is out, even though he has won the Indianapolis 500 3 times already. Nobody wants him on his team. He's been kicked off. And then someone on the team gets injured, ironically, the person that replaced him. And Al is back on the team. And you see all the time that he was off the team, that he wasn't going to be in the race, he knew that he could win the race. He felt down deep in his bones that he had another race in them and that he could win it. But nobody else thought that he could. So when he started, he was like 20th, 25th in line. He was way in the back. Nobody was betting on him. And of course, this was 1987. So by now we all know, if you follow racing at all, he went on in like the 183rd round to finally hit the front of the pack and to win his 4th and final Indy 500. And while he wouldn't probably claim it as prayer, or maybe he would, That is an example of the power of prayer when he knew so deeply in his soul that there was no other possibility for him. He essentially had collapsed the quantum wave down into a particle of winning the Indy 500. And that is how it can work. Sometimes, maybe all the time if we could get our thoughts truly aligned, but it's a complicated business. So we may not all win the Indy 500, but you can win the Indy 500 in your life by learning to harness this power, the power that you just felt in meditation. I hope that you felt that difference. I do every time, especially when someone else leads me and it's like, oh, let me just sit back, listen to these words and just let it happen. The difference in that power than the one when we're not aware of it is what wins races. It's what changes your life. So whatever it is that you might be working on, now is the time to bring that into this field, to be experimenting with it. If you were about to race in the Indy 500, I would say, bring that into here. Or if you have something that you're seeking or an issue, one of those life issues, this is the time to bring it in and remember and apply these truths. This is what we teach every darn Sunday, basically. There is an infinite field of potential. We see a tiny fraction, we use a tiny fraction, but we can change that and we can change our lives. It's huge, it's infinite. We can't even imagine how big God is. This few-week series that we're doing right now, we're calling it the field of potential. You can call that God, you can call it energy, you can call it the universe, whatever. But there is something here, and it's amazing and big and powerful, and we're a tiny part of it, but we're all of it at the same time. And we have access to all of it. What great news for all of us. But some of us, as I've been saying, feel like this. I don't know. Yeah, that sounds really good, Reverend Elizabeth, but it's not working in my life. Well, okay, that's what this series is for. We are taking on Pam Grout and her book, E Squared. Got the copy right here. You can get a copy on Amazon if you would like and read more about it. It's written in a really conversational, fun storytelling way. And when I first read it, I had a lot of fun with it. But I admit, when I first heard about it, I thought, nah, that sounds hokey. That sounds like that secret stuff. And I'm not really about getting stuff. And am I really interested in this book? And then someone gave it to me. And I started looking at it, and it was really powerful stuff. So just play and have fun, if nothing else. And I'm going to repeat what I've said the last few weeks for those of you who might be joining again for the first time or missed some of them. What we've got here is your brain gets 400 billion bits of info a second. It is so huge that I can't even comprehend it. So we can only take in 1/2/1,000,000th of a percent. And so what we are experiencing is really a drastically reduced part of the whole. And what we're trying to do then is to open ourselves up as much as possible to more of the whole. I say it's like these balloons. In essence, we've got about 4 balloons maybe that we're juggling. I mean, really only one at a time, but let's just say we've got kind of 4 things that we're able to take in, and the room is really this full, but we're only taking in those 4 balloons, but that's not even it. The room really looks more like this. It's like one of those rooms with balloons times 100 or 1,000, and then that's not even enough. If you could even imagine this room, where every little dot that you see, every little micro dot there, the size of a pencil making a period, is a bit of information, and your room is filled with nothing but that. Now multiply it one more time, and maybe you're getting close to what the potential is. That helps my math brain realize that's all I'm taking in, but there's a heck of a lot more going on. And there is, for those of us science geeks who like to understand the brain part of it, something called the reticular activating system, which is the part of the brain that helps us organize and put away things that we don't need, that it thinks that we don't need, so that it actually colors and makes the world that we live in. Two people, same spot, two experiences. So all we need to do is open up to more of that potential. And that's where we've been experimenting. And I'm working ahead in the book from you folks. So I've also gone through this once or twice before. So I've done some of these experiments, but I'm doing them all again. And my mind is blowing. Just like this little boy. This is what I hope that your mind does when you start actually playing with the field of potential, to blow your mind. And if one experiment doesn't do it, then maybe the next experiment will do it. This week, the experiment was to repeat last week's and collapse the wave function into a particle. Essentially to say, we're looking at the room full of dots, and we're going to boil it down to one dot. What if we could find one particular dot over and over again where it exists in the field of potential? That's what the experiment was for this week, about focusing our energy and our perspective and our view. So that's what we're doing. We're taking a look at the power of using these spiritual tools. Like when we meditate, we put aside all of the things that we don't need right now, the to-do list, the what's going on, what's in the news. We say right now, it's all about peace, and then peace is there. That's what we're doing every day in our life, as we go out and we pick from the buffet of life, and where we will spend time and how we will be and what our energy will be. We can pull from this wave that you now see, collapse it into a particle. Yep, we get to do that. And here's how we did it this week. I can't wait to hear, so start posting. How did it go this week with looking for green cars and yellow butterflies? Yeah, I know, it's fun, it's silly. Does it really make a difference? Somewhere down the line, it really does. So this was your experiment. It was to write down either repeating an unexpected blessing that you wrote down. I am looking for an unexpected blessing in the next 2 days. Boom, give it to me. And then the next experiment was, if I start looking for things, I will find them. They're there. I just need to look. And so here we go. Could we find more green cars and yellow butterflies than we've ever been aware of? And we've got a few comments coming in here. 99 Luft balloons. Yes, absolutely. Phil, and Phil would appreciate this since the race card. Yes, so get Phil in on this lesson here for you. And we are focusing our energy, perspective, and our view. Oh, yes, that's right. I love Anne. She put some of my great quotes in there. Okay, so Jeanette had 2 green cars, no butterflies. All right. Anybody else, go ahead and pop down what you found there and let me know. Let's see, Jeanette. I thought I saw Jeanette. Oh, that's right. There we go, Jeanette. Well, let me tell you what happened to me, and I promise it's the truth, because I do want to hear your stories. So this is what it looked like for me. I blew my mind once again, and I've done this car experiment before, and I thought to myself, when's the last time I even remember a green car? It just doesn't register, right? I'll notice a purple car, but I don't really notice green cars. So for the first couple days, I extended my experiment. First couple days, totally forgot to look for green cars. That's how it goes. You write something down, but it's new, and the brain isn't ready for it yet. And the brain says, that's just something I'm going to set aside right now. And it goes right back into the groove like an old LP. This is what we do. We just kind of drive unconscious. We look around, we notice restaurants, but we don't notice cars. So a couple days later, I'm sitting there, oh, wait, cars. I was supposed to look for green cars. And think about how that happens to you in your spiritual life. You set an intention, oh, I'm going to be really good. I'm going to meditate every day. That's a big one. And then the next 3 days, you completely forget about it. Then somewhere along the line, little dot comes back. So that's how it happens. Sometimes we start it, and it doesn't happen right away. But then when we remember in the future, there is still a seed planted and it sprouts. And then the more we water that seed, the more we commit to it, put reminders, get in a group. If you had told me that you were going to pay me $100,000 for every green car that I could see, I bet you I would have remembered. So that motivation. So I remember then on day 3, first thing, look to my right, green car. See, that's what I love, is when the universe just says right then and there. And then I saw a few more here, there, and everywhere. And then eventually I got up to 31. 31 green cars. Now there's a little cheat that I'm going to show you on that in a second. And then butterflies. Nobody's going to see yellow butterflies right now. I didn't see a single live one going around, but I did end up finding 3 butterflies, and I'll show you those in a second. So again, we make the first commitment, and it may not happen right away, but we keep going. And so my results were 31 cars and 3 butterflies, and it looked like this. So I saw a whole bunch of green cars on the road. I was up to about 10. And then a Menards truck went by. And that counts. It's a truck. It's a vehicle. So a Menards truck went by. I drove into the Menards parking lot, and I got 10 green cars right out of the Menards parking lot. So that was my little bit of a cheat, but I still saw a lot of green cars and some really funky ones that you wouldn't have thought. And then the next thing that happened was I was sitting in my car, and I looked at my windshield, and there's a yellow butterfly on my vehicle sticker. I am literally looking at a yellow butterfly every day for years, 2 years, year and a half now in Mount Prospect. Glanced past it, never even saw it. So there was one. And then the last one was this kind of fun one. I was getting ice cream downtown Mount Prospect. It's a little orange, but hey, it's close enough, it counts. Then there's this huge ceramic butterfly in the middle of the garden. Those were some of the things that I found. And so what else did we get here? Mary Ellen had 6 butterflies, 1 green car. Oh, Anne's got a green car. Love it. No cars, but an Easter lily bloomed in my garden. Oh, we'll take it. We'll take it. And then, all right, so that's what we've got so far. And if you didn't see anything else, now I know I talked to somebody who said they hadn't seen any green cars. Sometimes it does happen that way, and it may change in the future. It may not, but thank you for trying. Thank you for playing. And again, now that I've mentioned it to you, you may say, you know what, I forgot all week. I'm gonna start again and just see what happens. You can run these experiments anytime. And this is a little bit more from our author, Pam Grout. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is a beautiful story by one of our members, actually. He shared that he started the experiment. He was going to do the unexpected blessing. And then he realized that maybe he didn't want to be or need to be the recipient, but he wanted to be the conduit of someone else's. So he thought about it for a while, and he decided to help his sister-in-law who'd been in the hospital and sent her money online. Isn't that great? Such a wonderful lesson that we can be the conduit of someone's blessing all the time. So if this sister-in-law were watching this service, imagine what she would be saying about an unexpected blessing. And a reminder about how important it is to track these things and to write them down. As I shared last week, when I got my first unexpected blessing on Tuesday, by Friday, I had forgotten it. I had written it down, but the piece of paper was somewhere, and I thought, well, wait, I know I got a blessing. What was it? It was already gone from my mind. That little dot was no longer important to my reticular activating system, so it filed it away. And then there'll be a day when I think nothing good happens to me, but there'll be a list somewhere of dots back here, or a list that I've written down. So do this and prove it for yourself. And you can ask yourself these questions during the week. So for those of you who did, get a blessing or see the cars, why do you think that was? What was different this week? And if you didn't get a blessing or see any cars, why do you think that was? Some of us might say, well, I realized that it really did kind of fall off the radar. Or I'm red-green colorblind. I didn't see any green cars. No, whatever it is, take a time to consider what that means. Some of us, it might mean, well, it didn't happen this week. There's timing involved in my blessings. Something else is coming. Or maybe the one that I really want to focus on is that first one, the first experiment about getting the blessings and seeing the blessings. Again, it's more about seeing the blessings that are already there, naming it, writing it down, claiming it. Claim that blessing. Claim that truth. Claim a new possibility. Me, I can tell you on that fourth question here, were you surprised? I admit it, I was. I was surprised. The first day when I only saw 2 green cars, I thought, wow, I'm not going to see very many. Then the next day it was 5. Then the next day it was 10 because I went to Menards. And so I was surprised. And again, as I was getting ready to put the final touches on my talk yesterday, I'm thinking, darn, I mean, I have the one butterfly, to share, but I don't have any other butterflies. And within 5 minutes, I walk into that garden and I see the biggest yellow butterfly you can imagine. Again, I love the way the universe answers, and it's so funny. Oh, I forgot. Thank you, Mark. You reminded me of something. So you'd not been driving, but you looked out the window and realized the car that had been there for 3 days was green. Then you look next door and another green car. Oh my gosh. Thanks. I was worried about that, Mark, because so many of us aren't driving that much. And here's what happened to me. I was watching an old movie from like the 80s or 90s or so when there were a lot of green cars and there was a car chase. And that's where I got, I think, 8 green cars watching TV and saw some green cars pass by. Thanks, Mark, for sharing that. Anne, shares that she was distracted. And name it and claim it. That's so important for us. I need to see something positive in the news. I will renew my focus so that I can see that. There you go. So you can be focusing on looking for that. And we're going to get into our exercise here in just a second. So what is showing up is a reflection of our thoughts and lives. And most of it is focused on the negative. So we're flipping that around this week, and we are going into 3 optional experiments for you. You can do 1, 2, or 3. I'm giving you a bit of a smorgasbord on this. And if you really want to know what you're really praying for, look at your thoughts. Your thoughts are directly linked, whether we realize it or not, and how many subconscious thoughts we're having. So the quality of the outer world comes from our inner. And so you have 60,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thoughts to keep focused on one thing. If 1 or 2, the more we change, even 1, 2, or 3, we can start an avalanche of positive thinking that will impact how we feel and what we can accomplish. And Jesus did it because he was the highly ascended master who could do it essentially all the time. So here is your first experiment. I'm going to show you what it looks like because I already did it for you. We're conducting an experiment today about our energy to prove that where we direct our energy can change the outer world. So these wands are going to be my energy detectors. And in the beginning, they're going to flap around. And then I'm going to think about something positive. I'm not going to move my hands. And you're going to see these wands come together. And now I'm going to think about something negative. And you're going to see these wands go apart. So they've already started to go apart, and the more I think negatively, the more they go apart. Now I've just moved. I'm going to do one last thing, and I'm going to direct my attention to my right and see if the wands will follow my attention without me moving or my eyes moving. There you have it, folks. I encourage you to get yourself 2 wire hangers and undo them, make them like guns, put straws on them, and test it for yourself. Don't believe me, but it blew my mind when I did it. Yep, it blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. And so here's what they look like if you'd like to do the experiment. It's just 2 wire hangers that you unwind, and you make a short end like this that you can hold like the barrel of or the handle of a gun, and then they're long so that they're unwieldy and they don't want to, so they fly and flap all over the place. And then you put a straw, just a simple straw here, so that it turns so that the wands can move. So again, you don't have to believe me. I mean, I know the wind was blowing. One might think, oh, well, the wind did some of it, but they were blowing in and out and right. Try it for yourself. It blew my mind. And then here are the other experiments that you can play with. By making the following intention and focusing on its outcome, I can draw it into my life. We're going to use the power of prayer for this first one. You're going to set yourself 2 days to say, I want to manifest X into my life. I encourage you to make it something somewhat realistic, because if it's too far out there, your brain will instantly say no. So something that you still have a door of a possibility, that there's something that you want to play with, that you want to manifest and see how the universe responds. I like another type of exercise. This is another one that I had my mind blown, let's just put it that way. So a number of years ago, I was dating someone, and I wasn't sure if I should continue dating him. And I was back and forth, and I was really looking for answers. It's in those moments, that I wish there were a man God who just popped up and I could say, tell me what to do. But I didn't have that. So instead, I asked in prayer, God, it's one of those kind of prayers, please show me what I should do. And what happened was he had left his cell phone at my house long ago before I met Arturo, and his cell phone. And so I had said to this person that I was dating, he was hanging out with some people that I didn't like, and they were a bad influence. And I said, if you continue hanging out with them, I can't be with you. And he left his phone there. And so after he left, I prayed, God, please show me a sign. Within a minute, this text message popped up on his cell phone sitting there. I couldn't help but see it. And it was from one of these people, and it said, see you at 8:00 tonight. And that's when I knew it was over. The phone literally rang and showed me. So if you would like divine guidance on something, take on this experiment. Set yourself 2 days to say, my yes or no question to the universe is. Mine was, should I stay or should I go? Ask a yes or no question of the universe. So again, you want to write this down. Your hypothesis, you don't have to write that top part, is if I ask for guidance, I'll get a clear answer. You are experimenting like a scientist to find out, can you make that happen? So pick any of those experiments, and if you're not sure what they were, just come back and watch the video a little bit later on, and you can see them all played out again. And while this is fun to play with it, I want to make sure we all understand this isn't about getting stuff. This is about you understanding the power of prayer and the power of the energy that you have. Because if we doubt it a little bit, we need to keep trying. If we pray thinking that we do not deserve the things, these untrue and indefinite thoughts carry themselves out. And then we say, prayer doesn't work. So right now, what you get to do is just give it a try, give it more time, give it some time, give it some more time. If you're not blown away on the first couple, keep trying. Keep the faith. Many, many people have gone through classes on this book and experimented like you are about to do again this week. Have fun with this, because as my friend Daniel Nahmad likes to remind us, we are an instrument in the orchestra of God.
Feel
free to dance.
I am an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I wanna play in the symphony of sacred love. I am an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I wanna play in the symphony of sacred love. Never again will I wander. Never again will I doubt. Suddenly I can see clearly. Love is what this life is about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am an instrument of the divine.
There we go, gang. I was seeing some messages that you weren't hearing it, so I wasn't sure if I should continue on. So I have jumped back. We heard part of that. You can hear that song. It's I Am an Instrument by Daniel Nahmad. And if I cut it off before you really got yourself going there, but I did see some people weren't hearing. So something to check out this week, what's going on. And now is our sacred time for being in this flow of giving and receiving. If you were sitting in church, a little basket would be coming by and you'd be pulling something out probably and putting it in the basket. And we do it now virtually. It's just as important as it was when we were sitting in that building. You invest in your spiritual practice by keeping your church alive and supported. So if you haven't had a chance to do that before, it's very simple. Just go up to the top in our description, click donate. Any small amount that you give matters. Any big amount that you give matters. Give yourself the gift of being the blessing out into the world. And so let us now take our love offerings into our hands and bless them. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And again, we are so blessed and so grateful for all of you. And Arturo has put our link here, and Anne has shared a few things as well in the chat. And oh, great. Tanya had questions about what to do with the girls. And now moving forward, the schools answered the questions, and they will have a hybrid. Wow. Thank you. When the decisions are hard, what I learned is don't force it and it will come in time. Brilliant. You're on for next week, Tanya. You're going to give the sermon. Wise, wise, wise. How many times does that happen? The majority. And now I'm asking my dear friend Teddy to join us. We have a special thank you to do today. And Teddy, we are going to get us side by side. Everyone, this is Teddy. Teddy is on our prayer team and our prayer chaplain team, and she personally stepped forward months ago to say she wanted people to be recognized more. And that's the power that you have in our church, that you can be like Teddy. If you see something, say something, do something. And now we have a wonderful recognition program for our volunteers, thanks to Teddy. So Teddy, tell them what today is all about.
Well, today is about this morning. Pull this down a little bit. Okay, this morning, we're going to acknowledge our hospitality team. And we want to say thank you. Unity Northwest is proud to honor our volunteers who have served Unity Northwest and made us what we are today, a great, wonderful instrument of peace, power, and peace and power. We are grateful for your steadfast commitment to Unity Northwest Church and your mission to serve this community and our minister, Reverend Elizabeth Mora. So let's take a look at our team. The team leader is Janice Rowe, and she says, our hospitality team is about giving and abundance. Hospitality brings people in fellowship for socializing, an opportunity to discuss the topic of the service while joining and enjoying coffee and snacks. All the team members, she says, all the team members do a great job. And she enjoys baking and decorating a table presentation. And this is the opportunity to do that. Her team members are Judy Augsburger, Carolyn Danoon, Sharon Fitzsimmons, Jeanette Gordon, Trudy Metz, Gail Petersdorf, Sarah Wren, and Sally Witt. We want to say congratulations to our hospitality team. Be healthy, be happy, be safe. Thank you, God, for our team, and amen.
Thank you, Teddy. That was beautiful. We so appreciate you serving and coming on Sunday and having such fun with this. Thank you, Teddy. What a wonderful team. And we are going to show those names one more time. Judy, Carolyn, Sharon, Jeanette, Trudy, Gail, Susan, JK, and Sally. We miss seeing you. You do such a wonderful job, and we look forward to when we're able to do it all again. In just a few minutes, then, we will have our Ask the Board session. So please jump right over to Zoom. It is up. The link is above. If you haven't joined for fellowship before, no problem. You can join for the very first time. Click the link and hear what we're talking about from the board and ask any questions that you want. If you didn't get a chance, make sure you check your email box. An important email went out. And if you didn't see it, no problem. Come over to the Zoom meeting in 2 minutes and you're going to hear all about it. Remember to check your email, keep your donations going through our donate button and watch on YouTube. Be safe during the week. Next week, we will continue on one more time with our final E squared and come over to Zoom and fellowship. We normally have chaplains on there for prayer. Today, the prayer chaplains won't be praying since we have our Ask the Board meeting. And so as we move on for the week, please remember the truth of who you are. You're fabulous, wonderful, stupendous, beautiful, awesome, crazy, smart, wonderful. You fill it in. You know your own truth and you live it this week. Have fun experimenting and please really stop in and watch our Zoom session with the board and ask your questions. We're here to serve you. God bless. Bye-bye.